Hey there, fellow podcasters. Ready to take your podcasting game to the next level? Well, guess what? It's time to stop sounding like you're recording from the bottom of the ocean and start delivering audio so crisp and clear that your listeners will think that you're right there in the room with them. Whether you're a seasoned pro or just starting out, I'm about to spill the beans on how to achieve that sweet, sweet audio perfection in your podcasting setup. So grab your headphones and get ready to sound like a podcasting rock star. So, you've got this awesome podcast video in the making. You want the audio to be as crisp and clear as your ideas. Well, you're in the right place. Getting that killer sound isn't rocket science, but it does take a bit of know-how and a dash of effort. In this guide, we're going to spill the beans on how to make your podcast audio so sharp and clear that your listeners will be like, whoa, did they record this in a studio? So grab your mic, pop in those headphones, and let's dive into the magical world of top-notch podcast audio. This video is brought to you today with the help of our sponsor, Teleprompter.com. Recording videos has never been easier, especially with new tools, such as Teleprompter.com app. This revolutionary new app allows you to write a script ahead of time and casually read your lines, while still keeping your eye contact on the camera and maintaining that casual conversation with your viewers. First, let's talk about how to pick the perfect microphone for your podcast without diving into tech jargon. We'll keep it simple, so you can sound like a pro without breaking the bank. Finding the right audio equipment. First things first, figure out how much you're willing to drop on a microphone. There are mics for every budget, so no need to break the bank for a good one. There are two main types of microphones, USB and XLR. USB mics are plug and play, while XLR mics need an audio interface. If you're just starting out, a USB mic will do the trick. So if you're a bit more advanced and want better sound quality, consider an XLR setup. Dynamic mics are sturdy and handle noise well, making them perfect for noisy environments. Condenser mics capture more detail and are great for studio setups. If you're in a quiet spot, a condenser might be your jam. Look for mics with a cardioid pickup pattern. It's like a heart-shaped bubble around the mic that focuses on your voice and rejects background noise. Perfect for podcasting. Popular brands like Audio-Technica, Blue, Shure, and Rode make awesome podcasting mics. For USB mics, you can't go wrong with the Blue Yeti or Audio-Technica ATR 2100X. If you're going for the XLR, the Shure SM7B is a legend, but there are plenty of budget-friendly options too. Room setup. Setting up a dope podcast room isn't rocket science, my friend. First things first, find a quiet spot where you won't be interrupted by noisy neighbors or barking dogs. Now, grab some comfy chairs or cushions for you and your guest butts. No one likes a numb rear during a podcast. Next, get yourself a good microphone, like a USB one if you're just starting out. Pop that bad boy on a stand and position it about 6 to 12 inches from your mouth. Don't forget to tweak your recording software settings for the best sound quality. Chuck in some soundproofing with rugs, curtains, or foam panels to kill any pesky echoes. And of course, always have a glass of water handy. You never know when you'll get thirsty talking up a storm. Now, you're all set to drop those podcasting gems, my friends. Microphone setup. So, you want to make sure your mic is set to the right mode. Most mics have a cardioid pattern for podcasts, which means it picks up sound mainly from the front and rejects noises from the sides and back. Now let's talk placement. You want to get cozy with your mic, but not too close. Around 6 to 8 inches away from your mouth is usually the sweet spot. But hey, don't be afraid to experiment a bit and find what works best for your voice. Just avoid being too far away, or you'll sound like you're recording in a cave. Oh, and watch out for those plosives, those annoying P and B sounds that can make your listeners cringe. Use a pop filter or angle your mic slightly to let the side reduce them. Lastly, mind your surroundings. Try to record in a quiet place. Maybe add some soft materials like blankets or pillows to soak up any echoes. So there you have it. Mic settings and placement in a nutshell. Audio editing. Let's dive into the world of podcast editing and get you started with some cool software and techniques. So, first things first, you'll need some editing software. Most podcasters love using programs like Audacity, it's free, Adobe Audition, or GarageBand if you're on a Mac. These tools allow you to cut, trim, and tweak your audio like a pro. So let's talk about the basics. When you open your editing software, you'll see a timeline or waveform view of your podcast episode. This is where the magic happens. To start, listen through your recording and note any spots that need fixing. Maybe you stumbled over words or there's some background noise you want to get rid of. Use the cut or delete tool to remove those bits. Smooth is better. Next up, make sure your audio levels are on point. You don't want your audience reaching for the volume knob every few minutes. Adjust the volume of different tracks or segments as needed to keep things consistent. Look for the gain or volume controls in your software. Adding some sweet effects can also take your podcast to the next level. You can enhance your voice with EQ, equalization, to make it sound more professional. And don't forget to add some music or sound effects if that's your jam. Just be sure they don't overpower your voice. Lastly, give your masterpiece a final listen through to catch any last-minute hiccups. When you're satisfied, export your episode in a format that works for your hosting platform, like MP3. Recording tips. Maintain consistency. First things first, don't be all over the place with your podcast schedule. Pick a regular release day, stick to it. Whether it's every Tuesday morning or every Friday night, your audience wants to know when to expect your awesome content. Consistency builds trust and keeps your listeners coming back for more. Monitor audio levels. Nobody likes to struggle to hear what you're saying or to get their eardrums blasted. So, invest some time in audio quality. Use a decent microphone and headphones and keep an eye, or rather an ear, on your levels. Make sure your voice isn't too quiet or too loud. Adjust your mic and software settings until it sounds just right. Script and rehearse. Don't just wing it, buddy. Write a script or at least some bullet points to keep your thoughts organized. It helps you to stay on track and makes you sound more polished. Then, rehearse your lines a little bit. You don't have to sound like a robot, but practice makes perfect. The more you rehearse, the smoother your podcast will flow, and you'll sound like a pro. Testing and quality. When you're setting up your podcast, don't forget about testing and quality. They're like the secret sauce to make your show sound awesome. First things first, do a sound check before hitting that record button. Make sure your mic levels are just right, not too loud and not too quiet. You don't want your listeners straining to hear you or getting their eardrums blown out. Also, give your headphones a spin to make sure you can hear yourself and any guests or co-hosts clearly. Now, on to recording. Pay attention to background noise. Find a quiet spot and close any windows or doors that might let in unwanted sounds. Sometimes you might not even notice that buzzing fridge until you listen back later. Speaking of later, take the time to listen to your recordings before editing. Check for any glitches, weird noises, or mumbles. Those can be edited out for a smoother listening experience. Last, but not least, test your finished episode on different devices and in various settings to ensure it sounds good everywhere. Remember, quality matters, but it doesn't mean you need to break the bank on equipment. With a little testing and tweaking, you'll be on your way to podcasting greatness. Conclusion. Getting that crystal clear audio in your podcast setup isn't as tricky as it might seem. Just remember to invest in good quality microphones and headphones, find a quiet space to record, and tweak your audio settings for optimal clarity. Don't forget to edit your audio afterward to clean up any background noise or unwanted sounds. With a little effort and attention to detail, you'll have your listeners saying, "Wow, that sounds amazing." So go ahead, hit that record button, and let your voice shine in the podcasting world. I hope you found this video helpful. Give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more content like this. We also cover the latest podcast tips and how to use them to help engage your audience. Feel free to share your thoughts or questions in the comments section below. Thanks for watching.